Chapter 5, Miller's Hill. Morning mist clung low to the ground as James Newland stepped away from the cabin. The folded note from Anna pressed against his chest like a compass. Miller's Hill. She was close. But how close?
Stay moving. Stay sharp. She made it once. She can make it again.
He worked fast, scavenged what he could from the cabin. 2 cans of food, some dry clothes, a flare gun, and a small revolver hidden beneath the floorboards. 6 rounds. No reloads.
She was smart enough to leave that behind. Means she left in a hurry or didn't want to be weighed down.
Outside, the world was waking. Birds chirped, but further off, the woods sounded wrong. Too still. He moved in the opposite direction of the path leading back toward the road, into the thick. Miller's Hill was 10 miles, give or take, depending on the terrain and any new obstacles that cropped up. It was a place Anna had mentioned only once, an old family picnic spot from when she was a girl. Overgrown now, she said, forgotten, perfect for hiding.
10 miles isn't far, not unless the wrong people are between you and where you're going.
By mid-morning, he descended into the shallow ravine, water still trickling faintly over the rocks. He paused to refill his canteen when a crack rang out. Not thunder, not wood, a gunshot.
Shit.
He dropped to his knees, scanned the ridge above. Then came another shot, closer. Not aimed at him, but somewhere ahead. He could hear shouting now. Quick, angry voices. Panic. He moved slow, crawling along the riverbed until he could peek over a boulder and see the source. 4 men, camouflage gear, black armbands. One had a scoped rifle. Another dragged a man by his collar. A farmer, maybe. Blood smeared his shirt.
Not uniforms, not military, but organized.
They weren't looters. They were something else.
Militants? Mercs? Someone playing soldier?
He watched them toss the bleeding man against a tree. One of them barked questions. Where's the stash? Where's the radio? When they didn't like the answer, they kicked him until he didn't answer at all. James gritted his teeth, slid back into the brush. He circled wide around them. Took longer, but he wasn't about to end up next to that tree.
Don't trust the uniforms, she said, but this ain't about the uniforms anymore.
By afternoon, he reached the base of Miller's Hill. The trees thinned just enough to show the slope rising steeply before him, peppered with thick brush and boulders. He didn't head straight up, too exposed. Instead, he followed the tree line, zigzagging back and forth, listening for anything that didn't belong.
Come on, Anna. Be here. Please be here.
Halfway up, he found signs. A shoe print, small, deep heel. Someone running, fast. Then, a strip of faded red cloth snagged on a thorn. Anna's scarf.
Got you.
He pressed on. The air was cooler at the top, windswept. Through the pines, he saw it. A half-collapsed pavilion, rusted barbecue stands, old park benches swallowed by ivy. He stepped into the clearing, eyes sweeping every corner.
Anna?
No answer, but near the edge of the clearing, nestled beneath the roots of an overturned tree, a tarp-covered lean-to. He approached, cautious, pulled the flap aside. Empty, but not abandoned. Blankets, a lantern, a water jug, a sat phone. Dead. And in the dirt, written with a stick, North Trail, 2 hours ago, stay low.
She's still running.
He knelt beside the message. Dirt was still damp. She couldn't be far. Then, a sound behind him. Not a voice, not a shout. Metal on metal. A safety clicked off.
Don't move. I'm not looking for trouble. That's what they all say. You're wearing a work badge. Is that government issue? Plant worker, not military, not one of them.
A man stepped into view, mid-30s, wild beard, eyes sharp. He held a semi-automatic rifle, but didn't aim it. Not quite.
You here for the woman? My wife, Anna. I tracked her here. You seen her?
The man's jaw worked.
Yeah, passed through 2 days back. Headed to the river crossing, East Fork. She was looking for someone and said you might come. She safe? Last I saw her, yeah. But there's patrols out now, real organized. Don't fly any flag, call themselves the Order.
The name settled on James like a cold weight.
She said you'd know what to do. I don't know anything, except I'm not stopping until I find her.
The man nodded, handed over a scrap of paper, a rough map.
You'll need this, and be careful at the crossing. The Order's got eyes everywhere.
James took the map, looked once more at the shelter she'd built, now empty. Then, without a word, he disappeared into the woods, eastward, toward the river, whatever came next. Behind him, Miller's Hill stood silent once more. End of Chapter 5. Chapter 6. River Vash. The map was nothing more than scribbled lines on a torn sheet of notebook paper. No scale, no compass, just instinct, memory, and the trail scratched by a stranger's hand. James Newland followed it east, deeper into the forest. Each step away from Miller's Hill felt like peeling away the last layer of the world he once knew.
Stay east, past the dead pine grove, over the shale ridge. Keep the river in earshot.
By noon, the trees began to thin, and the wind carried a new scent, acrid and sharp, like melted plastic and charred wood. Not campfire, not natural. Burnt, man-made things.
That smell, the river's burning.
He reached the ridge marked on the map. From its crest, the river came into view. Wider than expected, sluggish and coated in gray-black film that caught the light like oil. Here and there, bits of wreckage floated by, coolers, insulation foam, a child's shoe, and further upstream, the remains of a bridge. Steel supports jutted out like rib bones, blackened and twisted. On the near side, a few abandoned vehicles burned out. On the far side, figures moved, slow, careful, carrying rifles.
The Order. They've claimed the crossing.
James backed away from the ridge and crouched behind a boulder. He watched them for a while. 3 men, 2 women. Uniforms mismatched, but they all bore the same black patch, a circle of thorns.
That symbol. The stranger said they call themselves the Order, but no radios, no insignia beyond the patch, just discipline and numbers. They're building something.
For now, they didn't see him. He slid back into the trees and began skirting the riverbank, looking for another way across.
Anna wouldn't go through them. She'd find another way.
The eastern fork of the river had once been a picnic and fishing spot years ago. Now it was ruin. Campfires burned beside overturned boats. Cans and ration wrappers littered the ground. And just beyond the next bend, a raft, tethered loosely to a tree, makeshift. Plastic barrels and scavenged pallets tied together with bungee cords and hope.
Anna, this has your stubborn fingerprints all over it.
The raft bobbed gently, light enough to maneuver, quiet enough to get across unnoticed if he was careful. He pushed it into the water and climbed aboard. The current was slow, thick with silt and ash. The far bank seemed both close and impossibly far. The far bank seemed both too close and impossibly far. Halfway across, he heard a sharp whistle, bird-like, but too perfect. Then came the reply. Not birds, signals.
Damn it.
A rifle cracked from the tree line. The shot went wide, but the message was clear.
We see you. Too late for subtle.
He dropped flat on the raft as more bullets slapped the water around him. The barrels creaked. Ropes snapped. The raft spun once, then drifted towards a sandbar. James rolled off into the shallows and dragged himself through the reeds. A final shot struck one of the barrels, sending it drifting into pieces. Silence returned.
Still breathing for now.
On the far bank now, he moved inland. Not far, just far enough to vanish into the brush. He waited there, listening. No footsteps, no dogs. He'd made it. And now, tracks. 2 sets, one heavy, one light, heading northeast, still damp in the center. She'd passed here, maybe only hours ahead.
Anna, I'm close. I swear I'm close.
He followed the trail into the stand of oaks and maples, each trunk wrapped in a veil of moss. There, in the fork of a tree, he found it. Her scarf again, tied in a knot, pointing the way. A signal, a breadcrumb. She was thinking ahead, leaving signs only he would recognize.
Don't stop leaving me these, babe. Not now.
By dusk, the terrain turned rocky. Hills gave way to broken shale and steep climbs. Then he saw it. A cabin, half covered in ivy, windows boarded, chimney cold. A tin can hung on a string above the door. He approached slowly. A scratch in the wood, her initials, a backwards N and a jagged A. She'd been here. But inside, nothing. No body, no bag, no note. Only silence. An open book face down on a cot. The pages still smelled faintly of her soap.
She stopped here. But why leave?
He sat down heavily on the cot, the day catching up all at once. Then from the woods, a voice, distant, breathless. Not hers.
You came through the river? You really crossed? Who's there?
A girl, no more than 16, filthy, wild-eyed, holding a slingshot but shaking like a leaf.
You're James, aren't you? Who told you that? Your wife. She passed through last night. Said you might come. Said if you did, I should tell you she's heading for Ridge Hollow. She's alive. Ridge Hollow. That's another day at least. Is she alone? Not anymore. She found others, good people, a whole camp, but they're not safe, not yet.
Outside, night fell like a curtain. James stepped into the cold air, the wind pushing past him like a whisper. He had one destination now, Ridge Hollow, and beyond that, who knew? The world had broken, but James Newland hadn't. Not yet. End of Chapter 6. Chapter 7, Ridge Hollow. The girl's name was Cora. No last name, no backstory she wanted to share. Just scars on her hands, a cautious stare, and a voice like someone who hadn't slept more than 2 hours in a week. James Newland didn't ask more than he had to. They moved through the woods in silence, east by northeast, the direction Anna had gone.
You said Ridge Hollow. What is it, a town? Used to be. It's a hollow between 2 ridges. They fortified it with cars and scrap, turned the gulch into a sort of box canyon. The walls give them cover, and there's a creek for water. And you say Anna made it? Yeah, she didn't say much, but she asked about the river crossing, about the order. Then she left me a note, said if I saw a man about 6 feet tall with a black pack, tired eyes and wedding ring, I should get him there. So here I am.
Cora walked past him like she'd been in the woods most of her life, light, fast, and wary. James kept pace, but every step felt heavier than the last. He wasn't just following a trail now. He was chasing a hope.
Please be there, Anna.
They didn't light a fire that night. Too close to the order's outer perimeter. Too many signs of patrol. Boot prints in the mud. Ash circles where fires had been quickly stomped out. They camped beneath a fallen pine, wrapped in emergency blankets, sharing a protein bar and a bottle of creek water boiled in a dented camp cup. The girl never slept. She just stared at the darkness, slingshot in hand.
How long were you alone? Too long.
They broke camp before dawn. By late morning, the trees gave way to rock outcroppings and wind-carved paths. Signs of life returned, boot prints, shell casings, and a child's toy tied to a tree branch like a warning. Then, just after noon, Ridge Hollow, or what was left of it.
Jesus.
The walls were real, stacked cars, beams, twisted rebar, a checkpoint made from an overturned delivery truck and a rusted RV. A line of tripwire glinted faintly in the light. James held up a hand. Cora nodded. He approached slowly, hands up.
Hello in the camp. I'm unarmed. I'm looking for my wife, Anna Newland. She was here. That name don't mean anything unless you got proof. He's good. She left word, told me to find him.
There was a pause. Then a second figure emerged from the shadows. A woman in her 50s, lean as a scarecrow, with cold eyes and a bolt-action rifle.
You're him. Anna said you'd show up all busted looking. Said you're stubborn as hell. She's not here anymore. Where is she? Left 2 days ago. She said she had to check something out. Something at the edge of the valley. She didn't say what, just left this.
The woman pulled a torn notebook page from her vest. James took it with shaking hands. The handwriting was unmistakable. Anna's.
James, if you're reading this, you made it. I knew you would. There's something strange at the far end of the hollow. Lights, sounds. Not like generators, not fire either. I'm going to look. I'll wait if I can. But if I'm not back in 48 hours, follow the light. Trust your gut. I'll leave a sign.
James folded the note, tucked it inside the lining of his pack.
We shouldn't stay here long. That light she's talking about, I've seen it too. A white shimmer, almost pulsing. No smoke, no source. It comes from the North Ridge. Then that's where we go.
The older woman stepped closer.
You head that way, you don't come back, you hear? We're barely holding this place together. If the order gets a whiff of what's up here, we lose the valley. I'm not here to draw them to you. I'm just here to find my wife.
With that, they passed through Ridge Hollow. It wasn't a town anymore, just a collection of survivors behind welded doors and watchful windows. But James didn't stop. Beyond the camp, the trail to the North Ridge grew harder, steeper, jagged. A storm rolled in mid-afternoon. The light dimmed, the air charged.
This isn't natural. You think it's the lights? No, this storm. It's like the air's humming.
They crested the North Ridge just before nightfall, and then they saw it. Down in the basin below, half hidden by trees and fog, was a dome of light. Pulsing, flickering, no wires, no flame, no explanation.
That's it. That's where she went. Then that's where we're going.
But as they stared into the strange glow, a new sound reached them. A hum, deep and mechanical, not from the dome, but from behind it.
Get down!
3 figures on the ridge, clad in gray and black, night vision goggles, silencers, not order, something else. James shoved Cora down behind a boulder as the first shot cracked the sky. Then darkness, then fire. End of Chapter 8. Chapter 8, The White Dome. Gunfire in the dark isn't like it is in the movies. There's no dramatic standoff, no shouting over the bullets. It's flashes, chaos, the deafening crack of suppressed weapons, and then silence. James Newland didn't run. He dropped low, rolled behind a shale outcrop, and yanked Cora down with him as a slug tore bark off a nearby stump.
Stay low. Circle right when I move. Go wide around the ridge. Stay in the brush. What are they? Not the order. Too organized.
He counted 1, 2, 3 boots, all in staggered formation. Tactical, military style. But no insignias, no spoken orders. This wasn't a patrol. It was a sweep.
They're hunting something.
James lobbed a rock wide to the left. The impact drew one of them just enough. He dashed forward, silent and fast. The man turned just in time to catch James' shoulder in his sternum. They went down hard. One down, two to go. James grabbed the man's weapon, a short-barreled suppressed rifle, and moved on instinct. This wasn't his war, but something in his bones clicked. Muscle memory from a life before this one.
Please tell me Anna didn't come through this gauntlet.
Cora circled wide like he said, emerging on the opposite slope, slingshot drawn. A pebble snapped through the air and cracked one of the men's goggles. He dropped, clutching his face. James didn't wait. The rifle cracked once, twice, then it was done. 3 strangers lay still in the dark. The gear was advanced. Drones, thermal cams, encrypted comms, but not a single ID badge, no names, no tags. Just one patch stitched inside the collar, a stylized infinity symbol, red on black.
I've seen that before. One of them had it at the river crossing, right before the flash. It's not just an EMP.
James took the goggles, the rifle, and one of the drones. Packed light. They couldn't linger. The dome in the basin was still glowing, still pulsing. It beckoned. It took them 2 hours to reach the ridge. The basin itself was covered in moss and low brush, eerie in how untouched it felt. Like nothing had disturbed this place in years, except that wasn't true. The ground around the dome was scorched, trees bent outward, not inward, as if something had pushed from the center with immense pressure.
This isn't power. It's radiation. Or magnetics, or both. Why would Anna come here?
The dome wasn't a structure. It was a field, an energy sphere hovering just inches above the ground, like a snow globe made of light. It pulsed in a rhythm, slow, deliberate, almost breathing. And just inside the field, barely visible, was a movement, a figure.
Anna?
He stepped closer. The air changed, pressure on the skull, teeth ached, hair lifted from the skin. Then, a voice, not spoken, not heard, felt.
Observed, divided, reached. Did you hear that? What?
James dropped to a knee, breathed deep. Inside the dome, the figure turned female, dirty blonde hair, lean frame. Anna, alive.
Anna! Anna!
No answer. She looked right at him, then away. She was doing something. Working? Moving cables, adjusting devices? And then she vanished.
She's inside the field. Then I'm going in. You don't know what it'll do to you. Neither does she, but she went in for a reason. I'm not letting her face it alone.
James reached out. The air stung. The dome shimmered. Then contact. He was through, and the world was silent.
Anna?
Color swam at the edges of his vision. Light trails, patterns in the air. His skin pricked with static. But he was alive. The clearing looked the same, yet everything felt shifted. Time bent around the edges. Then she appeared.
James? Anna, thank God. Are you okay? You shouldn't be here. I couldn't let you do this alone.
She rushed to him. Her face was worn, her eyes exhausted. But there was love there, and fear.
They built this, not us, not nature. Someone wanted it found. Who? I don't know, but it's listening to us, watching. I can feel it thinking. Well, what is it? Maybe a test? Maybe a doorway? Maybe a weapon?
A new pulse surged through the dome. This one hit like a wave. knocking them both to the ground. Outside the field, Cora shouted, her voice muffled by the barrier. Inside, everything shimmered. The trees bent, the sky flickered, and then darkness. When James opened his eyes, the dome was gone. The clearing was still, the sky normal. Cora was running toward him.
Where is she? I don't know. She was right here. We were together.
The clearing was empty. The scorched earth cooled, and far above, in the faintest traces across the sky, a ribbon of light vanished, heading west. To be continued.